Hi everyone, we are going to use this tutorial to help us figure out how to complete our digital color wheel assignment. So the intention of this assignment is to help students do a few things. One, I need you to be able to download items or images or documents that I put into Focus and then edit them and then re-upload them. So there's some, technological kind of skills that we're learning for this particular assignment, but we're also going to build upon our skills using the online art editing making sites that we used. For this tutorial, I'm also going to use Clecky because I just think it's really easy and intuitive, but you can always use Sketch.io or Procreate or whatever other apps that you might have on your electronic devices if you feel more comfortable with those. So the first thing that I want to show you is basically, this is my view of your assignment in Focus. And it has the instructions in the description box, and it just says this assignment is intended to help students master several technical skills, as well as introduce them to the color wheel and how we use them to show color relationships. Students will learn the following color relationships, also known as color schemes: primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary, also known as intermediate colors, monochromatic, warm, cool, complementary colors, and analogous colors. Students will also learn how to download files I share with them in Focus, edit them using online creative software, and resubmit the images they create back into Focus. So in the small dialog box in the bottom left here, if I click on this document, it opens up this digital version of a worksheet that we usually do in class. Now, if you had me last year, we definitely used markers or crayons or color pencils to fill in this color theory worksheet. But this year we're going to paint it in using the Clecky website. So color theory is really just the study of how colors relate to one another and how they can be symbolic and representative of emotions and other kind of different things. But color is what we see when light is reflected off of a surface back to your eyes. So we watched the Scholastic Art video in class that explained how color is the light that is reflected off of an object, and that's the color that we see, and how some people can't see different colors, and which was pretty helpful. I feel like that video is it's only a few minutes long, and it has a lot of great information. So we should have watched that in class. If you were absent, I'll post a link to it on the Teams announcement that explains this assignment. And then why are the colors on the color wheel in a specific order? That's going to be for you to answer in your own words. I'm not going to tell you what to think there. I want to know what you think, why you think that the colors on the color wheel are in a specific order. And you're going to use Clecky to color in all of these different shapes, including the tertiaries, primaries, secondaries, complements, analogous, warm, cool, and then choose your favorite color in the bottom. So I'm going to click on the Clecky because I have it open. And then across the top of the menu bar on the right, it has Clecky. And then it has, which is basically like a bunch of different, tutorials that you can do on your own if you wanted to. And ways like support and, ways you can use Clecky in addition to how we are going to use it for this class. And then the next... the next little blank is if you want to create a new image from scratch, but we don't want to do that. And the one that has like a little file folder is the one that you need to select if you would like to add an image to Clecky and then draw or paint over it. So I already have this here. And I'm going to add it as the image. If you look at the size, it's, 2,550 megapixels by 3,300 pixels, but that's really big. So when I hit as image, it's going to be huge. See? It's really big. So I'm just going to like scale this down. I'm on my iPad, so I just was using just my index finger and my thumb to pinch that down, but you could also use these plus and minus tools on your in your toolbar if you wanted to do that. So now that I have the color theory handout ready to go and it's uploaded into Clecky, I'm going to open up the paint bucket tool and make sure that I'm on fill. And I'm just going to choose the colors that are on the color wheel. So they're labeled for me, so that's super easy. Thank you, Miss Collado. That was so nice. And you're going to experiment with using the color picker. That's what this little eyedropper is. But you're going to move the dot around to find like the most accurate version of red. And then you already have your paintbrush selected, and you just tap or click on that space and it's going to color it in for you. It's pretty easy. It's actually kind of fun too. It's like a digital online coloring book. And then I can move this around, or I can use the bar that slides back and forth to then decide what kind of red violet I'm going to fill in. And that's a pretty good red violet. And I can just tap there. Now I want to choose violet. And tap. But wait a second. There's two sections that need to be colored in red. So now I want those to match. I don't want them to be two different reds. So if I click on the little dropper tool, the little eyedropper tool, and then click on the red, it'll match that color. And then I can go back and fill that red triangular shape, pyramid shape that I forgot to fill when I was using the red. So using this eyedropper tool is how you can match colors when you're making creations on this website or using this app. It's okay that it filled in that extra space there. That doesn't bother me. And we're going to choose, you're going to decide what all of these colors look like to you. So the thing that was a mistake. The thing that we need to kind of address is all of the stuff on the second half of this digital worksheet. So we have primaries, secondaries, and tertiaries. So in an effort to just illustrate this, I'm going to undo all of the colors I colored in except for red. So when we're talking about primaries, we are talking about red. Oops, that was not correct. Blue. And that is a terrible version of yellow, and yellow. The primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. The secondary colors are when you add a primary to another primary. So what happens when you add yellow and blue? You get, ta-da! I'm going to make this a little bit darker. You get green. When you mix red and blue, you get violet. And when you mix red and yellow, you get orange. So the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And the secondary colors are orange, violet, and green. This is a really cool color wheel chart because it actually has the primaries identified in the center triangle. Red, blue, and yellow. And then in these other triangle spaces that are on the sides, it's basically giving you a visual, an illustration of how red and blue make violet, how yellow and red make orange, and how yellow and blue make green. When we're talking about the tertiaries, it's a fun word to say, but tertiaries are also called intermediate colors, and tertiaries are when you add a primary plus a secondary. The easiest way to remember a color that is an intermediate or tertiary color is by recognizing that they all have two names. So they blue and green. Blue green is the intermediate, is the tertiary color. Blue violet is the tertiary color. So it's basically two named colors combined are always going to be the tertiaries on a color wheel, on a traditional color wheel that we're looking at right now. So I want to select a blue violet color, and I'm going to go with that and fill it in. It's pretty good. I need to find a blue green, which is kind of like turquoise looking. Fill that in. Not too bad. A yellow green. And these are just in between colors. It's not quite yellow, it's not quite orange. It's yellow-orange. And then I need to find a good red-orange. There we go. And then a red-violet is going to be over here. Red-violet is what everybody calls magenta, but the real term is red-violet. And there we go. So that's how the color wheel is organized as far as primaries, secondaries, and tertiaries. So I'm going to undo and get back to a few basics here. Back to, just the primaries and secondaries. So when we're talking about complementary colors, which is this section down here and right here, we're talking about colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. So I'm going to switch to the brush for a second to help illustrate this for you visually in this video. So if I have green here, the color that is directly across from it is red. So red and green are complementary colors. If I have blue and I use the color that's directly across from it on the color wheel, I'm going to hit orange. And if I have violet, the color directly across is yellow. So that looks kind of messy now. And it works but it makes sense when you look at it, without all those lines drawn on it. Now, blue-violet here, if I had that colored in, directly across from that is yellow-orange. So tertiaries or intermediates, they can have complements too. So that's what complementary colors are. Analogous colors are colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. So we're looking at this section here, analogous colors. And what we mean by that is in this area, we have 3 rows of 3. So you're going to select 3 colors that are similar. They're right next to each other on the color wheel. So we're going to go back to our paint bucket, and I'm going to fill in yellow-green again, just to show you. Now I've created, on my color wheel, I've identified a set of analogous colors. Yellow, green, and green are a set of analogous colors. They are right next to each other on the color wheel. So you can pick any 3 colors that are next to each other. It doesn't matter, as long as they are 1, 2, 3 right next to each other. Warm colors are really easy. I don't think I need to go over that too much. They're the colors that remind us of the sun, or, kind of if you think about fall colors to an extent. But it kind of, warm and cool is kind of split like this, with this side being the warm colors and this side over here being cool. And you're just going to fill in the 6 colors on the cool side in the cool section, and the 6 colors on the warm side in the warm section. Yellow, green, and red, violet can kind of go either way depending on, which kind of yellow, green, or red, violet you use. But typically red violet would be considered cool, and yellow green kind of tends to be a little bit more warm, but either one of those are kind of tricky. So yellow green could be cool depending on, the tone of it, and then red violet could also be warm depending on the tone of it. So once you finish your assignment, I don't want to bring all my photos up, but let's see. I thought I saved this. Oh, I saved it here. So once you bring it up, it should look something like this. This is what a completed version of your digital color wheel would look like. And then you are going to go back into focus, and then you can select in the toolbar in the bottom, and you can find, oh, these are all my drawings. You don't need to look at those. And then you can find that download and save it there. I'm not going to put it in there because I don't want to put it in there, because then you guys will see my example. I want you to remember and figure out and watch the video and do the assignment at home while you're watching the video. So that's how you use Clecky to upload a document or a worksheet, and fill it in like a digital coloring book. And then instead of coloring things with shared materials in class, we're going to do all of this virtually. And then I should be able to see your assignment. You guys who have uploaded your assignments, you did a great job. I graded almost all of them that were submitted before I even left school today, so it was really easy to do. So once you figure out how to upload your documents to Focus, your grades are going to be put in super fast. They're going to be updated like daily. So you'll always kind of have a better idea about what your grades are throughout the quarter and the semester and the year. So, all right, guys. That's it for tonight. Miss Collato's fun tutorial on how to create a image in Clecky that you've uploaded to